Welcome to We're Talking Bears, the show where uncle, nephew, and son bring you the latest in the Bears experience. Hey,
That's the latest in
first,
the Bears experience right there. That is
that was it.
the Bears experience.
Hey, first of all, thank you guys for liking and subscribing. We see it. We see it. We see you. We appreciate everybody who's been with us, and we appreciate everybody who's joined. Now let's get to the bad news. How y'all feeling?
So you might as well go first because I got a whole tirade. So go ahead.
Man, I'm pissed. I mean, do you remember just right at the bye week, and I was saying, man, it'd be nice if we can win all three of these games before we start playing division teams. And then I was like, but I would be okay if we can at least win two of the three. Now we've lost two, potentially all three if we lose this next game. But now we've lost the games that we're supposed to win. Man, I'm just disgusted. And you know what? I don't know what we're doing. I'm ready to kick FLUS to another planet and as usual, start over.
Well, since you're going to go on a tirade, I'm just going to discuss how I feel. I'm a sucker. I bought into it. Go ahead.
All right, look. Let me start by saying that we're 4-4. Okay, the season's not over. There's a lot of football left to be played. There's 9 more games. It's a 17-game season. We could technically finish 13-4 if we just went out. But this was the easy part of our schedule. This was the part that was supposed to be the cakewalk. It gets harder from here, not easier. So the fact that we're sitting in this position at 500 with a rookie quarterback and maybe a top tier defense, the fact that we're sitting in this spot and we feel the way that we feel is not a good sign. We are not trending in the right direction this season. We are not trending in the right direction as a franchise. We are not trending in the right direction at all in any metric that you could possibly devise. Our defense is getting worse. We gave up 29 points to the Arizona Cardinals, who are sneaky, but not particularly good this year. I'm not putting anything on them to be freaking coming out of the West and making noise, right? So we've given up Hail Mary touchdowns to lose games that, man, when I tell you, that's more than a backbreaker. That was a spirit breaker for this team. And here's the worst part. When we drafted Caleb, the first thing I said was, we don't need to be carrying FLUS into this next year. And people are like, oh, the defense was really good at down the stretch, and the continuity and da. But now we are in a situation. Where he has completely lost the locker room. DJ Moore is walking off the field during the game, hurt or not, walked off the field during a play. Okay, you've got the leaders of this team from what was it, like week 3 or something like that, when Mercedes Lewis had to call a meeting and tell the coaches what their job were just to get us back in line, because we were just reckless out there with it, just making the dumbest calls, losing the dumbest games for nothing. We had Caleb week 2 as a rookie through 52 times or whatever it was, 58 times, whatever the number was.
Yeah.
Out here absolutely wilding. No idea what they're doing. No plan, no freaking consistent developmental strategy, none. Now we're in a position where basically you have to fire the coach. Okay? He's 0-18 on the road. He's something like
3-17.
No,
in the past 3 years, it's 3-17
on the road. Are you sure?
On the road, pretty sure.
Anyway, point is, he don't win many games. He got the worst, maybe the third worst, I want to say, record of any Bears coach in the history of the franchise, and he's been here for 3 years. You got Washington, who picked 2nd overall last year. They weren't very much better than the Carolina Panthers, who we took the 1st overall pick from. We were supposed to be better than them. They've turned around their franchise. They've done a full rebuild in an offseason. In one offseason. It's been 3 years. 3 years of this rebuild, 4 years of the one before that. When was the last time we were in the playoffs? 2020, 2019, something like that?
We went in 2018 and I think again in 2020.
2019. So it's been 5 years since we've sniffed the playoffs. We're in the
And
now.
the second trip to the playoff was a fluke.
Yeah,
Right.
it was a fluke. It was a fluke trip. And we are the basement of the best division in football. We are the new Las Vegas Raiders. That's who we are right now. Because we don't want to cut losses. We continuously throw good money after bad, and we do not know how to develop a quarterback. It's been 3 consecutive top 10 talent quarterbacks that we have had that none of them have worked. And there's no team in the NFL that can boast a record like that.
Hey, don't do things half-heartedly. I mean, if you're going to be bad, be the worst.
That's what I'm saying. And now we're in a position where, like, man, you got to fire FLUS. You cannot keep FLUS after this debacle. He has continued. I was saying this last year. I was saying this the year before that. Even when we didn't have the talent to win games, we were in games anyway. I'm not even going to go into why we were in those games because I could tell you, but nobody want to listen. Then FLUS would go make calls.
Why were we in those games?
I was like, for sure, we're tanking because Justin Fields was a superlative athlete. That's why we were in the games. Okay, end of story. Period. He was making up for the fact that he had practice squad players on offense and defense for basically the entirety of the 53-man roster. We had Equinemius St. Brown and Byron Pringle. I don't think either of them have caught a pass since they left the Bears roster. Maybe a couple of for Byron Pringle. He wasn't terrible, but he was a number 4 receiver in a really pass-heavy offense, maybe. And we had him out there starting. We had Dante Pettis, who can't sniff a roster that's not our own, and really can't get past a practice squad. Man, I don't even remember the names of the other dudes we used to have out there. And don't even get me started in the protection. Well, Darnell Mooney's doing okay. Darnell Mooney's doing okay. But let me tell you, that man was not playing the way he is now in Chicago.
Well, think about it. You've got a probable Hall of Fame quarterback throwing him the ball, and a guy that knows how to throw for 5,000 a season. He's going to pick up.
I don't even know if Kirk Cousins is close to that, but Kirk Cousins is a 15-year vet. Yes, he knows how to get the ball downfield. Cool.
He's about to have a 5,000-yard season.
But even regardless of that, Darnell Mooney has dropped so many game-winning passes in the end zone, no less. I don't even want to hear excuses for Darnell Mooney right now because he was part of the problem.
I'm not making excuses. I'm not saying we should pull him back. We're better.
All I'm saying is, like, we have guys that make the loss of Darnell Mooney palatable. I love Mooney and I wish him the best. I always do. We always stand for Moon. We always have. But the Commanders game in 2022, where he bobbled the game-winning touchdown that hit him in the hands as he went into the end zone, the Browns game
when he was laying on his back,
he laid on the ground, and all he had to do was just grab the freaking ball that fell in his lap for the Hail Mary, and he kicked it to the defender.
Like the Commanders receiver did. It fell in his lap.
Exactly. And one of them caught it and one of them didn't. So good for Darnell Mooney. I'm glad he's having success.
And the person that caught it, their team went up, and the person that didn't, their team went down.
He was not helping in the way that we needed at that time. And part of it was because we were asking too much of a guy who was too young. Cool. Part of it, maybe he was just, not happy here. Guess's scheme didn't make the best use of his talent. You can make all the excuses in the world, whatever. I'm not going back and forth about it. All I'm saying is the help wasn't there. Okay.
So let me jump in.
Yeah.
You have to compare yourself to the best to figure out why you aren't and close the gap. I don't expect us to be the best, but I don't like the toilet. I don't like the toilet. I don't want to sit in the toilet. I don't want to drink from the toilet. I don't like the toilet.
We are the toilet.
Yeah. When it comes to a lot of things, and that's terrible for one of the original franchises of the NFL. You look at a franchise like Pittsburgh that's taken 2 toss-away quarterbacks and ended up on top of their division because they have a coach
that knows how to win.
He doesn't know how to lose. He doesn't know how to not have double-digit wins. And it's not just that he's a fluke and they accidentally fell into him. This is the history of their organization since the 70s. They turned their organization around in the 70s with Franco Harris and Bradshaw and those guys, and they never have looked back once.
Mm-hmm.
Never. They have had 3 coaches since the 70s.
Yeah, because they get a guy.
All of their
who knows what the heck
coaches
they're
have
doing.
Super Bowl rings, all 3 of them.
Because they get a guy who knows what they're doing. And this is the one thing that the Bears refuse to do.
And
And not
the
only do we
first thing,
refuse to get a
hold
coach,
on, the first thing
finish
you
this
have
last
to
thing.
know
Let me
what to
finish this
do.
last thing.
Hold
We
on, let me
won't get rid of the guys. We won't get rid of the guys who don't know what they're doing. And that either tells me that we don't know at the top, tippy top of the organization what a good coach even looks like. We don't know what makes a good coach, or we don't care.
We
It's
don't
one
care.
of the two.
I was gonna say that,
It's
but we don't care.
one of the two.
I'm
Because
gonna
there
go
ain't no
with
other options.
I'm gonna go with we don't know, because there's been too many failures. Too many failures. You can't fail this much. You can't fail this much on purpose.
Ryan Poles is just an organizational scout in Kansas City with Andy Reid right in front of his face. So either he can't recognize what a good coach looks like because he's got one staring him in the freaking face, or he's not allowed to pick one, or the organization just don't care about having a good coach and they only care about printing money.
The fact that he only had one interview, and people said it, I said I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, where they just interviewed FLUS and that is basically done. And people said, that means they chose him because they interviewed FLUS before they interviewed Poles. And then they interviewed Poles, then Poles interviewed FLUS. And I really didn't want to believe that it was typical Bears garbage. Like, here, this is your head coach. You know.
I mean, but we knew when they brought in Bill Polian to do the interview process, then he picks a Colts guy. Come on. Is that a joke or what? No, so you think Bill Polian?
The first thing about choosing a head coach, you got to be a good play caller.
Yeah, but a legacy.
You got to be able to call plays.
No, you got to be able to
I don't have a problem with how FLUS gets the guys ready. I don't have a problem with their learning. No, I'm serious.
What?
Our guys, we wouldn't expect so much. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen, we wouldn't expect so much out of them if they weren't actually performing on the field. Problem is, we get down to an important moment where the coach has to make a decision, whether it's even just a timeout. When do I look? If I look out on that field and I see Tyreek Stevenson acting a fool, I'm kicking the ref. I'm punching him. I don't know if we had any timeouts left. Did we have a timeout left?
We had 3.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, there. I'm calling it. I'm on the field. I'm kicking the ref. I'll knock him down to get a timeout. I'll take a 15-yard penalty to get a timeout. I'm stopping that garbage. Because as a coach, if I look and I see, what is he doing? Timeout. I know this is going to go bad, and there's only one play left. Take the TO. If you got 3 timeouts in that situation and the clock is already stopped, why didn't you take the timeout? That's a coaching decision.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You got 3 timeouts, and you know there's only one play left, and you don't gather your men?
These are
simple things.
Call a timeout and thought that was a good timeout. Not one time in all of, and that's not something you just normally like assume coaches do, right? You're not supposed to think that was a good timeout, but sometimes coaches will call a timeout and you'd be like, yeah, that was the right call.
That was a good timeout.
You needed to get everybody reset.
Hey, the Eagles did it to us. They iced Cody Parkey.
Oh yeah, and that was a good timeout.
That was a good timeout.
I ain't never seen FLUS call a good timeout. I ain't never seen FLUS send people into no huddle at the right time at the end of a game. I ain't never seen FLUS manage his defense down the stretch so we don't blow a lead. I've never watched that man coach in any kind of situation and thought this guy can win a playoff game. Not once. And this guy can't even win regular season games and get to the playoffs. That should tell you everything you need to know. We're not making the playoffs.
I'm gonna throw one more on.
Give up on that.
I'm gonna throw one more on. Here's one more. FLUS took over the defense last year, and the defense got a lot better. But is that why the defense got a lot better?
Man,
or is it better because 98 was on the field? Because this game, one man was missing that last year wasn't on the field when we were getting blown out.
Mm-hmm.
And now we get blown out again. The one game he's out.
I mean, look,
and people can say, well, how can one guy make that much difference? Simple stuff. Like when the Commanders were in the red zone late in the game and Sweat takes down their quarterback, Jay. It changes the game.
we know Sweater's a game record, man. Like
He's a game record, and we've been riding Sweat, pretending that our defense is doing what it's supposed to do, and then the second you pull him out of there, it's terrible.
Yeah,
not bad,
but here, okay. So now, man, we really get into the heart of it now. So all right, look, why is that? Because we refuse to invest in our defensive line. Oh, guess what other line we refuse to invest in? Our offensive line. We always sit here and assume that these backups that we got, no offense to these dudes, but a lot of these dudes are not starting quality on other rosters, that these dudes are going to sit out here and make a TJ Watt level difference. We're out here, you know, with guys that are 4th round picks, and maybe they'll turn out to be really great down the line, but we can't rely on these guys as rookies to make that kind of impact. I like Austin Booker. I think he can turn out to be a really great player.
Man, I like Austin Booker.
Gervon Dexter. I think Gervon Dexter's having a hell of a season. I like Andrew Billings. Andrew Billings is hurt right now, and man, I'm really hoping that it's not that bad news, but we still ain't heard exactly what it is. He's a guy that really makes a difference in that interior, but he's not a pass rusher. He's not a guy that's out there on 3rd down. Who is on the other side? DeMarcus Walker.
And wait. And you think about it, what did the Cardinals do?
Got 5 sacks since he joined.
What did the Cardinals do to us? The Cardinals looked at us and handed the ball off when guys like Billings weren't on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's no Sweat, no Billings. Hand the ball off. We run all day.
Who's stopping them? Who's stopping them? Nobody. We're not strong at the point of attack. We're not penetrating into the backfield. We're not doing any of that stuff.
But worse than that, with all that taken away, it was 14-6 coming up on the half, and all we needed was 1 minute less, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 30 seconds, something like that worth of defense. It was less than a minute. It was 2 digits.
Mm-hmm.
And what do? We get gashed again for an enormous play with seconds left.
And that's the team giving up, man. Like that's lack of effort. That's lack of intensity. That's lack of presence of mind.
But it's also bad play calling.
Focus. Yeah, it's bad play calling too.
Because we were in a wide 9 set. We're in a wide 9 set. There's no one in the gap in the middle. No Billings. I don't think Billings was on the field. We're in a wide 9. And they looked at us and go, okay, you're going to let our center and our guards hit your linebackers? And you're going to stop this dude that you haven't been stopping all day? They might not have called a run on that. And then they walked up to the line and went, yeah, we handing this off.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? They're in a wide 9 set and you haven't stopped them. They got 100 yards on the ground and there's seconds left. Oh, yeah, and nobody's in front of the center or the guards? Oh, man, come on. I'm handing that ball off I will. I'm handing the ball off every time.
That's cool. And you could do that. But if you try to do that against a guy like Aaron Donald, that play is still not going anywhere. You try to do that against Chris Jones, that play's still not going anywhere. You try to do that against TJ Watt, that play's still not going anywhere. You try to do that against Budda Baker, that play's still not going anywhere. We got backups all over the field, and guys are not out here playing their hardest. That was evident. That was evident throughout that game. Guys were loafing. Guys were taking their plays off. And what did you think was going to happen?
Well, was that because
when you put these guys through hell over the last several years, you took their leader and then you shipped them off. You replaced them with a kid who has not been what you've purported him to be thus far. I'm not saying he can't be. I'm saying that's not who he is right now. And then you've got a coach who is basically a lame duck. This is the Matt Nagy situation all over again. He's good enough to get you to 800, maybe, if you got an easy schedule.
You meant 500.
I was about to say 800. 8-8, 500. He's good enough to get you to 500 if you've got an easy schedule. But that's all.
We don't have an easy schedule.
We don't. The rest of our schedule is not easy.
We just ran into 2 division leaders that weren't supposed to be division leaders.
Yeah, exactly. And now we're going to play the Patriots, who just won off of a last-second heroics play from their rookie quarterback because they sat him behind a guy to learn until he was ready to go out there. And what did we do? What did we do?
We shipped the guy off.
We shipped the guy off and brought in a new guy and thought, oh, he'll just jump in and be just as good as he'll be Patrick Mahomes. And I said this at the beginning of the season. We got to make up our minds. Do we want to be the name brand, Gucci brand, best version of the Bears? Or do we want to be the team you brand somebody else.
So,
And right now,
here's a question. Here's a
I
question.
don't even know what knockoff we are, man. We really just some like nameless Chinese product just floating off in the ocean in a shipping container. This is horrible.
Here's a question. Here's a question. So we're sitting here. You're on this team. Put yourself in. Let nephew answer first. You're on this team. Last week, all that goes wrong, starting top down, even from cutting Kari Blasingame, all that goes down, right? All of that. Then you see everything blamed on Tyreek. As stupid as what he did was. How you feeling coming into this game? Nephew?
Get this coach out of here. I don't think these guys want to. I don't think they want to play for him, and I think is becoming more evident because I look at it like this: these guys are professionals. You get what I'm saying? They'll allow you to be bad at your job, and a lot of times they can remain professional. But they're going public, man. They're telling exactly how they feel. They're laying it out there, like you said. DJ walking off the field. It looked like maybe he hurt himself or something on the play, but I don't know. You can't be sure. And I just don't understand. Cole Kmet doesn't play. We don't use him at all. DJ had a career year last year. DJ had a career year last year, and now you got him out there where he can't get anything done, all because you won't make sure that you're addressing things that need to be addressed, such as the O-line. You're not able to call good plays, and now you basically, and this is what I said I was worried about. Don't have it to where guys like DJ become disgruntled and don't want to play. Now, granted, he just signed a contract, so he's here, but that doesn't mean he's going to be invested. That doesn't mean his heart's going to be in the game. If you, as a coach, can go out there and lose the locker room and these professional guys that obviously want to make a name for themselves, want to be able to command good money over their careers, if you're able to do that, you suck, and you got to get them out of there. When you go out there and you blame Tyreek Stevenson, that's our job. That's our job to recap the game and be able to say this guy was making a bonehead play out there and should have been in the game. But when you as the coach are making bad play calls and bad decisions, you don't get to reprimand. You don't get to do that. You don't get to sit because the team sees that. It's like, yeah, you can reprimand him, and as a team, you can sit back and say, but you're talking about demoting him and now he's not going to play. It's like, well, who's demoting you? When you make these dumb boneheaded plays, when you put us in a situation like you said last week, well, we shouldn't have been in this situation. But you think it's okay for you to come out here and get down on the players and get down on us when we make mistakes, but you're making mistakes all the time. You're not even putting us in a position to win and to be good. And it's only on any type of competitive sports. You can't do that. You can't do that. You'll lose the team, and it looks like that's what's going on now. Khalil Herbert just hasn't played. Now we just traded him for a seventh round.
Traded him for a seventh.
We
wouldn't use him, and now we traded him for nothing.
For nothing.
Hey, that dude was a big part of us beating the Cardinals last year. 120 yards, touchdown. Come on, man.
And what do you think?
He ain't no good no more.
And to be honest, that's the question I want to ask to you. And cuz, what do you think about that? You're on a team, and you've seen the success of when we use Cole Kmet. You see the success when we use these guys and what their strengths are, and when we succeed and when we do well as a team. Then we watch the coach go out here and choose not to use these guys, or not to draw up plays where we can get the ball to our best player, or do things that puts us in a position to do what we do well. How do you think you're going to
let me holler out with Khalil Herbert for 1 second since you brought that up. Khalil Herbert, as a career, as a Bear, has 372 rushes, 372 rushes, 1,791 yards. That's 4.8 a carry, almost 5 a carry.
Right.
9 TDs, right? This year, 8 rushes, 16 yards, 1 TD.
Exactly.
We refuse to give him the ball, even though 4.8 a carry. The 2 rushes is a first.
So how do you feel being on that team? You're a player. You see what these guys do, and then you see that he proceeds to not go to the guys that do well for us. What does that do to a locker room?
That tears it up, honestly. And you're 100% right, man. Spot on. Because when you look at the success that the players that have left the Bears are having, that points to the team around you, the coaches, the scheming and the the ideas that they're putting out here and trying to put on film. They don't work, and they don't know how to utilize the players that they have. Then these players go off, and you're like, okay, well, we can't win because our quarterback's not good enough. Okay, well, your quarterback who left is 750.
Right.
Okay, and the receiver that you've that you've dumped off and you wouldn't extend, and you probably could have got him on, 15 mil a year, maybe less. You probably could have got him for cheap. Yeah, he's one of the top EPA per reception in the league, right? Okay, cool. What about what's his name?
David Montgomery. We give rid of these guys and they come back to kick our ass. That's exactly how
Demo's out here being one of the best running backs in the league. You as the players, you see this, you hear this. You don't exist in a bubble where you don't know what's happening outside of the team.
Right.
Right. You got the same coaches and the same lack of success. When you're a wide receiver, when you're DJ Moore, and you've spent year after year after year with bum quarterbacks. I mean, just straight dudes that just do not need to be starting in the National Football League. We're talking guys that are CFL players. We're talking guys that are permanent third string. Like, this dude is a good film room guy. Like, this is the type of quarterback you've had, and you've put up 1,000-yard season after 1,000-yard season. And then you finally get one where you're like, man, I really like this guy. I had a career year. I really want to build. That was just the first year with him. Man, I really could, I'm excited to sign a new contract. And then you sign the contract, then they trade that guy. And then the guy they replace him with is like, this guy's a better passer. This guy is better in every way than the guy we just got rid of. And he's putting up the exact same stats. What do you feel like as a receiver? I'm not going to just, DJ Moore, he might have hurt his ankle, but he's on that route. He ran that corner, and then he's coming back to the quarterback. There's no flat defender. There's the cornerback who's chasing him is a yard, 2 yards behind him. He's on the sideline, coming perfectly, shielding the ball with his body on the other side of the first down marker for an easy 10 on third down. And the quarterback running, looks him dead in the eye, doesn't throw it, turns around. Yeah, I'm walking off the field too, man. I'm walking off the field too, because this is a joke. It's a joke at that point. And this is what they present to these players. This is what they present to these fans, to us, okay, as a product. And the only solution is for us to not accept it. That's the only way for us to stop buying merch, for us to stop going to games, for us to stop tuning in on Sunday. Until you change something about the way you do business, you cannot continue to put this crap out here and expect us to keep eating it up. Because all that is make me a sucker.
These guys love to come back and kick our ass too. That's the worst thing about it, man. They love it. They come back here and have a field day against us, and it's been this way for years, man. They love to come back here and get down on us because they know they weren't the problem.
Hey, here's the other thing when you talk about that. My hope right now, is that Kevin Warren's the official, the president that we hired him to be, that he's been throughout his career. He come in and he cleans up organizations. Look, Kevin Warren should be having some long, hard conversations with Mr. POLES. Mr. POLES, I'm running around talking about you got 6 issues. I actually have to say you got 10. Left tackle, right tackle, left guard, right guard, center, fullback, one defensive end, and 2 D tackles. So I'm going to say 9. You got 9 issues. Those 9 issues are murdering our team. That's the first thing. Your other issue is coach and offensive coordinator. Those issues, you got to do something about that, and you got to do something now. Now.
I don't even want to finish the season.
And trading Khalil Herbert for a 7th-round pick, of course you had to trade him because he's going to get bitter. And he's like, y'all can't run the ball, but you won't give it to me. I'm 4.8 a carry. Give me the rock. I'm 4.8 a carry behind the guys that you say can't block.
Right. I'm
4.8 a carry behind. I've been behind these same guys all along. That's all I've ever had. Don't let him go to Miami and get 6 a carry.
Cincy.
Don't let my bad. Don't let him go to Cincy and get 5 or 6 a carry.
Yeah, and he probably will. He probably will. But the fact of the matter is this, right?
They're going to use him like crazy because they gave away Mixon. Like that was dumb.
It's only
they
one
gave
thing.
Away Mixon and they tanked.
It's only one thing Ryan Poles can say that I wouldn't be like, man, like, I say I got the thing on me with the panic button. My finger is about that close with Ryan Poles, right? He need to either come out and say in a press conference, Matt Eberflus will not be the head coach of this organization moving forward for the rest of this season, and be the first coach fired during the offseason. And then he need to come out and say the McCaskies, mid-season. He need to be gone right now. Either he need to get rid of Flus right the heck now and say that the McCaskies required him to retain him. And then he need to go find out who his interim coach is going to be and start negotiating with the best offensive minds in the NFL right at this very moment in order to bring in the best possible person to replace him and give Caleb the support and the development that we've never given a quarterback. And this is,
we got weapons.
This is back to man. I don't even know how far back this goes, because I remember when we were talking about who was going to come in 2021. You know, oh, we just drafted a very talented first round quarterback, and these coaches are here, and da 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 da. And there was one coach, I don't even remember who it was, but they were like, yeah, he came in with a super expansive plan on how he's going to maximize Justin Fields' talent, and then we didn't hire him. We need to have the opposite approach. Go find a quarterback. I don't care about the rest of the team. I don't care about the defense. I don't care about any of that mess. Go find me a coach that is so sold on Caleb that he's willing to come in here and make this reclamation project that Caleb now is. He's willing to make that his entire mission with the Bears. And come hell or high water, he delivers us a franchise quarterback. Because if we don't do that, then it's just the same cycle over and over again. And if this guy doesn't come in and swear his allegiance to Caleb, then I don't want him. If he comes in and says, "Oh, we need to replace this guy," go with another. Nope, I don't want him. Bring me a guy.
No, we're locked in. We're locked in.
And then if Caleb don't earn a 5-year option, if Caleb don't earn another contract with us, then the coach goes with him, and then you can bring in a coach and quarterback. And
I agree with you 100%. I agree with you. We brought up Montgomery. Y'all know how much I used to love Demo. I know we all did. Demo's on track he's 4.4 carry.
Don't even say
he's on track for 1,000 yards. He's at 488. Here's the killer. He's already got 7 TDs.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
He's been double-digit TDs every year since he left.
But he's on track for 15 plus.
Yeah. Yeah, he been killing. He had 13 last year?
Yeah. And that's because
OC.
We knew what he could do. You got to give him the ball in the right moment. Give him the ball in the right moment. We refuse to do that with Roshan right now. Give him the ball in the right moment. You said, no offense to, hey, you know that play, everybody was like, well, Swift got you near the end zone, let him carry it over. I'm not that guy. I'm like, look, bruh, this is your job. He's the short yardage guy. You want to score a lot of TDs? Make it in. Make it in the end zone, and you get the TD. If you die out at the 4, Roshan's taking it in. Period.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't feel bad. Score. You score. There's nothing I can do but kick the extra point. They give you the ball again next time. Right. But if you die out at the 2 or the 3, Roshan's carrying it in. I'm not playing around. I need points. Can't win without points.
Every rep. Man, and it's crazy, man. It's just so wild to like talk about the executive dysfunction of this team all last year and all off season and all the year before that and all that off season, and then to just turn on the TV on Sunday and then just bathe in it again. Like I just can't fathom how somebody could be like just addicted to this. If you own this organization, George McCaskey, Virginia McCaskey, how could you roll up to the game? How could you pull up and sit in your box and then go, eat your shrimp and your caviar in that box seat with your heated blankets and whatever, while the fans are out there freezing their freaking butts off in them cold seats?
You don't understand
do the same thing again. Like I just cannot understand.
Wait. You don't understand how? It's our fault. It's our fault.
No, it's not even.
No. It's 100% our fault as the fans. No, hear me out.
I agree that we bear some responsibility, but
no. Hear me out.
Responsibility for his own actions.
Hear me out.
I'm not taking responsibility.
At running a team.
No. Hear me out. Hear me out, y'all. Hear me out for 2 seconds. Kansas City was the Chicago Bears.
No, they weren't.
You know my good friend Roger. He had season tickets for years. His dad had.
At least he got to watch Larry Johnson.
Wait. They would always get good. They would come up. The best they could get was a good team that would fail in the playoffs miserably. Okay. They were that team. They were constantly mediocre and less. He and his friends, they mailed their tickets in one day. They did years ago. And a lot of other people did. And the stadium emptied out and they hired Andy Reid. Remember when we did that? when Tressman was here. I'll never forget. It was a Monday night football game at Soldier Field. And I drove up Lakeshore Drive and I got near the Soldier Field and I went, oh, I forgot, doggone it. I'm going to be stuck in traffic. There wasn't any traffic. And the field was empty. Now, they didn't fire Tressman the next morning, but they fired him at the end of the season. And you knew he was lame duck. I mean, there wasn't any question because the stadium was empty. This is why they're sitting there eating shrimp and caviar, because the stadium's full and the nosebleed costs $200. And as long as the stadium's full and nosebleed costs $200, it's not. This is because they can't make no more money by doing better.
I appreciate you saying that. And I understand the way that the Kansas City fans spurred their terrible owners into action, into different action. That is textbook psychology would define that as victim blaming, to say that it's our fault that these people are not doing their jobs.
Right.
Okay. If I'm the president of the United States and I am out here just doing the wildest mess you could possibly imagine. I'm out here giving money to Russia to blow up Ukraine. I'm out here. Well, we already are giving money to Israel. I mean, ain't gonna bring that up. I'm out here like just like inviting terrorists to come take plane rides with, regular citizens. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm deregulating every industry possible. Like, I'm out here being the worst president you could possibly imagine. Right? On the election night, this should be a good example. Okay. If the American people, who then are held hostage by my bad decisions, have to then say, okay, no, we got to put a stop to this. We got to go impeach this guy. Cool. They did something. They went above and beyond what their normal everyday responsibilities are as citizens in order to fix a problem that I was creating.
Right.
George McCaskey is the president right now. Like, literally, not even figuratively. He is the president of the Chicago Bears.
Well, actually, he hired Kevin Warren to be the president.
Okay, sorry, you're right. Kevin Warren is now the president. George McCaskey is now just the owner, but he was the president.
It's on Kevin.
It's on Kevin. It's on Kevin. It's your job, Kevin Warren. I'm talking directly to you. I hope you hear this. Somebody share this. Somebody clip this. I'm talking directly to you. Okay? It is your responsibility to fix this crap and to make sure that we don't never see crap like this again. The Steelers can do it. They could hire a coach, and he's a good coach, and they keep him. It's
for decades.
It's possible. You can win with a coach, and then when that coach, maybe he doesn't win for a couple of years, you don't fire him after a winning season. It's possible. It can be done. You could hire a coach and bring in a quarterback at the same time. It's possible. You could bring in a Hall of Fame level coach like a Bruce Arians and actually bring him into the staff and hire him instead of letting him walk and go somewhere else. It's possible. We Bears fans have been absolutely just maligned, criticized, unfairly dumped on by the entire NFL. Don't be the same person that all the rest of these team presidents and team owners and whatnot have been. Don't be too afraid to kick George McCaskey in his nuts and do what has to be done in order to get this franchise on the right track, because it is not on the right track. And everyone can see it. Everyone. That's all.
I agree.
Hey, let me throw this out. Do you know the last time? Yeah, I victim blamed us. You know the last time the Steelers had a losing season? Anybody want to guess?
No.
Man, it was probably like 2013, 2012, 2008, 2007.
What you think, nephew?
Somewhere around there.
I don't even want to guess.
2003 was the last losing season.
20 years.
And wait, and then the one before 2003 was 1991.
Right.
Since you've been born, they had 2 losing seasons.
Oh, I remember we were supposed to take the North and never give it back.
Well, we took the North, but it was just like Canada.
We didn't take nothing, man.
We didn't take anything.
We didn't get to Canada. What is that? The Grey Cup? We didn't get the Grey Cup.
And you know what, man? It's
competitive in the CFL right now, man.
The Cubs, to tell you why you can't victim blame me, because we're from Chicago. The Cubs were able to lose for over 100 years. Their attendance didn't go. I've never seen their attendance down. There's always plenty of people supporting the Cubs. They magically won a World Series. Now, I'm not saying they're not back to their losing ways, but within the fans supporting them, they found a way to win. You don't just sit back and act like well, since they're still coming to the games, it doesn't matter. That's ridiculous. That's completely ridiculous. And you got to call these guys out on that. You got to call these guys out on that. Get rid of these guys. Get rid of the coach. I'm sick of it, man. I don't have much to say. I'm just disgusted. And the worst part about it all is watching the players that I love to see, that I'm so excited to have on the roster, lose confidence because of the coaches. The game happens on the field. If you can be that bad of a coach to where your players don't even want to play for you, to where you're losing the players and they don't believe in you when they're the ones playing, that's really bad. Because you don't have to be a coach that's considered a Popovich. There's a lot of teams that when you don't have to be the Andy Reid to be a coach that is doing well with his team. Like, there's a big difference between being the best and being garbage. Like, there's a big difference, and we keep getting garbage.
Yeah, this is bad. I mean, Steelers are one of those franchises, man. You talking two losing seasons during your lifetime, man.
Right.
During that's two. And then, man, you're talking, if we go back,
91 was 33 years ago. 2 losing seasons. In
88 was their third losing season. So, and 86 they had a losing season. So they had a couple of them there, 2 or 3 there. And then that was the end of Chuck Noll. He had won 4 Super Bowls and then kind of teetered out. Then they got Bill Cowher in 92, and he ran to 2006, won a Super Bowl.
Bill Cowher in 92? That's crazy.
And then they got Mike Tomlin in 07.
It's 2024.
I'm telling you, man, when I seen that the street that the stadium sits on was Waldron, I started thinking these guys are playing any, meeny, miny, mo, and some different games for selecting these guys, because how did that happen?
They got 2 Matts and 2 Ryans.
You see what I'm saying? It seems like they're just being like, oh, yeah, that's the guy.
I like that name.
Hey, let's hire another guy named Matt. Another guy named Ryan.
They really just acting like they have no idea what they're looking at. Is a daily basis. I don't understand how I, as a fan, can sit here and watch the game from a broadcast angle, and I don't got no advanced statistics. I don't got no nothing. Right? I don't even get the all 22 until a couple of days later, and I can see clear as day what the heck is wrong on this team.
Yeah, because you're watching the game.
Let's talk about the offense a little bit. Let's talk about that since we're talking about what the heck is wrong.
What offense?
Where do we attack on the offense? We attack the flats. We attack the flats constantly. Constantly.
Are you saying what do we do on offense?
Yeah, we run to the out. We run toward the outside. We throw it there. We're constantly attacking the same spots on the field. How long was it going to be before somebody, a defensive coordinator, said, look at these scatter diagrams? Oh, my God. If we just cover these 2 areas of the field, their offense dies.
I mean, there's a lot of offenses that do that, and a lot of offenses from the Shanahan tree that do that.
Well, I mean, you can do it if you have first of all, you got to protect your quarterback, keep him upright. Second of all, I think we have the receivers of the quality to be able to do that, but we don't have an offensive line to do that. Caleb's got 2 seconds to throw the ball, and that's starting from the time the guy puts his hand on the ball, not from when he hikes it.
Man, it's all bad.
I back Poles. I'm Poles all the way, but he hasn't solved the offensive line.
He hasn't even tried, man.
He hasn't tried. And guess what? Guess what? How many strikes do you get in baseball?
3.
3 strikes.
I say 2, because on the third one you're sitting down. So
right, but he just struck again. He just struck again. We've got no offensive line again.
When Poles got here, we had one of the worst offensive lines in football. We had Jason Peters, the ghost of Jason Peters, as a 39-year-old off the couch. We had Latavius Simmons. We had what's his name? Sam Mustipher at center. God, Sam Mustipher. Let's not even get started on that.
I'm still going to say, out of the centers we've had, he's probably one of our best. He could hike the ball.
Since then, the only name of note we have added to the offensive line is Darnell Wright. Right. And he has not been.
He's struggling. Great. How are we coaching him down? He's not looking as good as he did last year.
No, he's not at
all.
The
coach is losing the locker room.
Or are we doing the wrong thing when it comes to diet and exercise with our linemen? Are we
wildly out of shape and not powerful anymore? Like I don't understand.
Olin, I think it was Olin Kreutz. No, it was one of the other. It was one of the 85 Bears linemen. I forget which one. Said, I wouldn't interview an offensive lineman. I'd sit in on his workout.
Mm-hmm.
And if he always goes after the heaviest weight he can go after, I want that guy. If I got a guy that's that could be throwing around 50s for something and is grabs a 40, or could be doing is just going lower than he could. So I don't want that guy on my team, because in the end he's not going to win. The offensive linemen are the biggest, slowest, most powerful people on the team until they're not.
Man,
and they're just the biggest, slowest people on the team.
I mean, they might still be the most powerful people on the team, but if that's how your offensive line is working out, how's everybody else working out?
Right.
It's honestly just an embarrassment, top to bottom. It's embarrassing that we're still having the same conversation. It's embarrassing that our quarterback is suffering the same ignoble fate, getting hit a second and a half after he hikes the ball, guys running free through the offensive line as free rushers from both ends, guys getting beat, linemen falling over backwards, like no pocket to speak of on a down-to-down basis, no consistency from the play calling, no consistency. I would say the receivers have been the most consistent part. Keenan Allen's hands have not been as consistent as we want them to be, but we've got Keenan Allen doing stuff he's not supposed to be doing. Keenan Allen's not running short routes and taking, 5-yard zig routes and turning them into a 35-yard gain. Like, that's not what we're asking him to do for some reason. We got Keenan Allen running deep posts across the middle. Like, I don't understand the logic of
it's called illogic. It's some backwards garbage. Let me go back to
guys that you have, so that you can sensibly have more money to spend on positions of need and then not addressing the positions of need.
Let me go back to the Steelers and how they've done it. Because, some will think, oh, well, they're just magically great at choosing quarterbacks, and that's why it always works. Right now, without having a losing season, they've had Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky. They had a couple years at the end of Roethlisberger's career. They had
Mason Rudolph.
Before him, they had Maddox. They had Cordell Stewart. They had Tom Zach. They had Neil O'Donnell. Come on, man. They're winning with guys that will never be Hall of Famers. Ben's going to be.
What do you mean? Like, the only reason you can name them is because you looked them up.
That's correct. And
we have a formula that are out here getting smashed and thrown for 150 yards a game. I don't have no excuses for this BS.
They have a formula that wins. You drop players in the formula and you win because you have a winning formula.
I mean, yeah.
We don't have a winning formula. So you drop anybody you want in there.
They can't do the math to figure out what the winning formula could be. We're just trying stuff. Throw it at the wall and see if it sticks.
Man, we're created and nurturing a losing culture. And I'll tell you this, a losing culture doesn't get better by just waiting it out. It doesn't. You don't just keep showing up, because all that happens is one guy is upset, then the next guy is like, this isn't working out, then he's upset. You get what I'm saying? Then you got your young players, they're looking at the older players and they're not happy. So now they're not happy. Everybody wants to go somewhere else. Everybody wants to leave. It doesn't get better. They need to make a change, and they need to make a change immediately, because somebody has to be able to reach these guys. Somebody has to be able to show these guys that, hey, I know how to make this work. I know how to get the best out of you, because none of these guys are showing up to be not remembered. None of these guys are in the NFL not trying to make plays. I promise you, Cole Kmet, as great as he's been for us, he is not showing up to not get passes and to be losing. Khalil Herbert, like you said, he is not showing up to not get the rock and watch us not be able to run the ball, as if he's just supposed to know that he's completely incapable or not valuable to the team. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get better. Everybody sees it in the locker room. Everybody knows what's going on. You got to make a change from up top. You got to make a change. It's different to say, hey, we don't have the personnel and we're losing because we're being outmatched. When you have coaches that are out there making the mistakes that are making the team worse than they should be, the team won't want to be there. The team won't be invested. The players won't want to play for you. And that never gets better.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the situation we're in. That is the situation we're in. And look, you know,
we need to make history by firing this guy in the middle of the season and let that be the statement that lets everybody know I'm serious about what's going on here.
Exactly.
That I care about what's going on here.
Exactly.
I mean, and look at teams like the Bengals that just handed us a 7th round pick for a legitimate starter. Man,
yeah, after
they are
talk about how we
looking
fleeced the Panthers. Now look at us.
They're 4-5, and they're like, man, we're, you know, if we could just get a little bit better, we might sneak into these playoffs and scare somebody.
Right.
And they're figuring out. We're 4-4, and we're getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm getting 4.8 yards a carry with a bad O-line, and you trade me for a 7th round pick, you obviously hate me.
He hate me. Remember that guy from the XFL? He hate me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but what else are you saying? You get what I'm saying? Like, imagine if I'm the guy who's not getting 4.8 yards a carry. The rest of them. What do you think about me? What are you saying? what type of message are you sending to the players?
And that's why I'm kind of like, man, you need to fire Poles too. Like in the offseason.
Hey, you're running. Look at this. If you had traded Herbert at the end of last season, what would you have got for him?
Yeah,
it would have been more than a 7th
pick.
It would have been more than a 7th.
You might have,
but that makes me wonder. That makes me wonder: is this really more so about how bad the locker room has become? You get what I'm saying? Like, I need to get this guy out of here because he's obviously not happy. You get what I'm saying? Like, let me get rid of him. I'll trade him for anything. Give me a stick of gum. You get what I'm saying? Because
he said he just tweeted, "Thank God," when he got traded.
Yeah, of course.
Is that what he tweeted?
I'm out of that shithole. Like that's really what the message was.
Hey, how much you want to know that he and Montgomery are chatting.
Texting each other right now?
They were FaceTime.
Oh, they were texting each other. Monty's like, dude, when you get out of there, you're gonna have a career.
Yeah, you're gonna be good. You're gonna be cool.
You be
Don't
good.
worry about it.
He was like, when you get out of there, you're gonna be fine. Trust me.
It just sucks to be on this side of that fence, man. It just sucks to be on this side of that fence and just know that these dudes are just never going to make the decisions that everyone knows need to happen. So maybe we do need to do what the Chiefs fans did. Maybe we need to not turn on the games, not listen on the radio.
And it sucks to say that.
It sucks to
say that because I love football. I like the Bears. I feel like they're our team, but unfortunately, they're really not our team. The owners are the McCaskies. So unfortunately, sometimes that's all that you have the power to do. And it's unfortunate because, I mean, look, we got a storied franchise that's been around for years. And so, of course, we love the game. We love to support our team. And we look at it as our team. But unfortunately, it's not. It's a team that we support. And unless we stop supporting it, then these guys are able to sit back and say, hey, I can put out trash and they'll still pay me for the trash that I'm giving.
Yeah. And I don't want, you know what? Like you said, there's a lot of football left to be played. We're 4-4. There's just the problem is the wheels are coming off, right? You're halfway on a trip and that vibration in the steering wheel is getting worse. And you can hear that tire shaking.
Oh yeah.
This is a problem.
I mean,
get off the highway.
At this point, you're not hearing the tires shake. You're hearing the metal as the rim just drags along the ground behind you, and it's a shower of sparks in your rear view, man. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now.
And what's
hard.
And what's unfortunate, man, is we got a rookie quarterback like Caleb, who's new in the league, who wants to do well, who wants to make a name for himself. Imagine how it feels when you're actually out there trying to do well, trying to play well, and the coach just isn't putting you in a position. Now the guys that you have to look to, like the DJs and the Keenan Allens and the guys that you're trying to lean on, and these are your weapons to have, and they're walking off the field on you. And it's not your fault, it's the coach's fault. But what kind of positions does that put you in to try to go out there and do a good job when these guys aren't in it? That they don't even have confidence in the coach. How they gonna go out there and play for you? They won't play for the coach. You get what I'm saying? So it's just bad all around, man. And somebody's got to make that. The president needs to make that statement. I'm okay with anybody that needs to go for things to go right. Get rid of whoever you need to in the front office to turn things around. to show these guys that are showing up to do their job every Sunday that we're not going to tolerate any BS.
This is like academics. This is like you brought up St. Columbanus last week. The old principal there, I forgot her name. She used to say, "Hey, I can't lose an entire year. I can't lose a year." She's like, I got to fire somebody early. And at the end of that first quarter, if you haven't done what I said and turned it around, I have to fire you because I can't lose a year and maintain quality. That'll be an entire class left behind. They'll be repeating whatever grade they were doing. We can't lose a year. We can't lose a year. A statement has to be made. Hey, you're not making it. You're not up to snuff. We gave you an extra chance, and we were wrong to do that. It's time. It's time. Everybody thought it was Justin. I'm not saying Justin's the greatest quarterback in the NFL.
No. You're not going to do that because we did not all think it was Justin.
I don't mean us. We're talking Bears. I'm talking the media in general.
They were. They
were
about anything.
Oh my gosh, the media was terrible. And Justin's gone. Better receivers have replaced him, and our offense is not even as good. It's not even as good.
It's not even good. It's significantly worse.
Yeah.
It's not even as good. It is a significant step backwards.
It's a significant step backwards. You added, and went, and you added, and somehow the transmission got stuck in R.
You know when they say addition by subtraction, this was subtraction by addition.
Yeah. So you're looking back, and look, you're fixing what this is what we said. We said this on We Were Talking Bears. Don't fix what's not broken. Take those picks, trade back, and fill up that offensive line. That's what we talked about this. We said you got the number 1 overall. Everybody can drop back to 5 or 8 or something like that, get another pick or a bunch of picks, a slew of picks this year. Either get 2 1s or get a 1, 2, and a 3 and fill up that offensive line. Get that starting left tackle, the real one. Get a real center. Get a guard and leave Tevin at right guard where he was successful.
Man, I swear.
And you could have put those boys in there. And that's what we called for. We said, no, fill the trenches. I need Caleb. No, guess what? The best quarterback in the draft was Jaden. Just like last year, the best quarterback in the draft was the number 2 by a long shot. Not by a little bit, by a long shot. And it happened again. We were smart last year. This year we were dumb. I like Caleb. We can roll with him, and we're rolling with him from here on. He's our quarterback. But was he worth 3 offensive linemen?
No. Not even close.
No, wait, let's correct that sentence. Was he worth Justin and 3 offensive linemen?
Right.
He wasn't worth the 3 offensive linemen.
He wasn't worth the 3 offensive linemen.
Clearly not making up for any deficiencies in offensive line. Like, let's just be honest.
He's not worth
offensive linemen. I don't understand.
Say, was he worth Justin and 3 offensive linemen? You add
was
3 offensive linemen and Keenan Allen.
Thank you, so.
And Roma Dunze. Well, you wouldn't have got Rome. You'd have got an offensive lineman.
But to a man, I don't think he's better than Justin. He hasn't proven that he's better than Justin. And he might have some skills that he might have a little bit better than Justin in some areas.
I'm going to say he's a little better at throwing the ball, but he has so much better receivers. It's hard to judge.
That boy needs to work on that. He's historically inaccurate. Like, I'm talking like not by a little. We're talking smooth bore, load the cannon with shot and fire. Like, I cannot.
Sexy Rexy inaccurate. Remember how inaccurate Sexy Rexy was?
Because at least Rex would just put it way out in front and let the guy run under it. He's not even doing that.
No, Rex would put it out in front. Do you remember the play where Rex threw the ball and Moose just stopped running and stood there and threw his hands up because the ball was headed into the stands over the sideline?
Vividly. I mean, it's the same. It's similar levels of inaccuracy. I'll give him that.
It's like,
if he can,
is there a cute girl in the stands you're trying to give a game ball to?
If he can make it so that the short game makes up for that deficiency, cool. He might be a good quarterback. But then at best, you have Jared Goff, who can't throw deep. And this is the number
Yeah,
one.
it's working. They're making it work in Detroit. They're smarter to
But
hire
you gotta have-
Detroit's offensive coordinator if that's the issue.
But Caleb
They're
Williams
making it work.
Caleb Williams is not 6'4" to just see over the line and deliver over and over again. He is an improviser. He is a scrambler. That is who he is intrinsically. And they are once again taking a quarterback and going, we're going to make you into something that you're not in order to try. And not only that, off rip. I mean, like, as soon as you come out the gate, you got to be something different than what you were in college and what you've been your whole life that's made you successful.
Well,
You got to
this
be
is why Jay Daniels is so successful. They're running his college system.
And that's why CJ Stroud was super successful, because he's running basically the same thing he was running at Ohio State. I sat here and broke down the concepts for you on freaking We're Talking Bears last year to talk about how he was being successful throwing Ohio State concepts. And why can't we just run some of those same concepts with Justin? Because it was the same freaking plays that was getting Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jackson Smith and Jigba and Emeka Egbika and all those guys tons of yards and touchdowns or whatever and cooking people. And CJ Stroud was cooking people like that in the NFL. And now we got Caleb, and we can't run his college stuff because his college stuff was this Cliff Kingsbury short game that doesn't really work.
I'm not gonna lie.
Bring in Cliff Kingsbury and be like, hey, try to adapt what you did to something that will work. We can't even do that.
I'm not gonna lie. This reminds me of typical Chicago politics, corruption, and we see it all the time. I think these guys really just sit back and it's like, hey, we need to get somebody else in here. The people are really disgruntled with the mayor. I mean, the coach. And then they just got another guy that's like, hey, can you get me in? I'm your boy. Come on and hire me. You remember when Jordan said he would play an extra year? And Reinsdorf was like, well, no, I'm gonna bring in the other. I'm changing coaches next year, no matter what. We're gonna bring. Wait, what are you doing? Pick somebody who's
out.
You
Rodman
already got the best
out.
coach. Bring in somebody who's actually good. I know you have friends. I know you got friends that would love to be in this position. I would love to hire my friends as well and just give you the money and let you do it. But it isn't working. If your friend isn't a good coach, you can't hire your friend. He's not going to do well.
They just hate winning. Somehow the Bulls lucked into it and somehow like won 6 championships, right? And then literally we're just like, man, winning sucks. Let's get rid of everybody who's actually part of that success. Like, what do you mean?
And I think that's what it was.
The same thing. I
think it was a power trip. I get to pick who's coming in here. I want to bring my boy in.
Everybody wants.
It was a power trip. It was Krause starting to think that it was him.
Right.
Yeah,
it was Krause thinking it was him. Oh, I did this, and nobody's denying that you're part of it.
I'll make another Jordan.
Right.
But you can't make it. You know what?
She's going to be the white Jordan now.
And that was my point last week. You can't make another Fridge. Let's just take a really big guy and he's going to be athletic enough to run the ball and block. If he was, he'd be a starter. Let's talk about that.
Right.
Yeah. If he was that athletic, he wouldn't be riding the pine.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I think this is the most negative We're Talking Bears episode ever.
I think it's the most negative that the season's been. And what sucks is that on We're Talking Bears, we start off every year, every offseason, we try to be optimistic about some of the positive changes that we see. And again, I like to see Rome out there. I like to see Keenan Allen. I like some of the pickups that we've gotten. But it sucks to just, like you said, sit here and bathe in this every year. And we called it last season when we said the things that we needed to address. And we try to stick by these guys because we're Bears fans. We want to watch the Chicago Bears play ball. We want to see them do well. So in our minds, we try to make it make sense to say, well, maybe they're actually right. They're not. They're never right. We watch the games every Sunday. We know what's going on. They're not right. They're not right.
I don't understand how they can also watch the games and then not, like, it's your job to not only watch the games once, but watch it over and over and over again until you know exactly.
Well, I watched it too, and he thought after he won 3 championships, you're going to take away Phil Jackson. Jordan is already telling you he might leave if you don't do it, and you think that this is going to be a good thing? You were just ready to lose. You were okay knowing that this next season might be a bad season, and you picked that. You were like, all right, well, I'm still gonna do it anyway.
I even, and I'm not making excuses for them, but I get it. Back then when they started having to pay Jordan $30 million, and then they were gonna have to pay Pippen $20 million and Rodman $20 million
for so many years.
Right?
You were getting away
no, they wanted that for that 1 year. They had 6 championships. And they were all like,
but Scotty didn't really ever get paid. So I mean, to pay Scotty,
not by the Bears, not by the Bulls. He had to leave. to get paid.
But that's what I'm saying. To pay Scottie for 1 more year, you gave Jordan 2 years of $30 million. He was Michael Jordan his whole career.
You're right.
He wasn't the highest paid player in the NBA any year until then.
Till his last 2 years.
His what's his name, endorsements and stuff. That was the only reason.
Oh yeah.
He was paid.
He more than made up for that money that you paid him, is what I'm saying. And for one more season, to bring it back one more time, when you got these guys committed to coming back and making it happen one more time, all I'm saying is you could have done that. I mean, you just decided Phil's out of here.
To bring it home, there's only one remedy for what ails the Bears right now. There's only one remedy, and it's the executioner's axe. You got to let that thing swing. Otherwise, all of your high-paid players, Montez Sweat on his $120 million deal, DJ Moore on his $120 million deal, Keenan Allen on his $20 million a year. Who else? Everybody who has a freaking deal. DeAndre Swift on his $20 million. Freaking Jalen Johnson on his $80 million. All of them are going to want to leave.
Yeah, they're going to demand trade.
They will not put themselves in harm's way and potentially lose years off of their career to blood, sweat, and tears it out with somebody who they don't believe in.
Right. And
no one believes in FLUS anymore. No one believes in the word salad gobbledygook he spits out at every presser. Nobody believes in the FLUS beard that he somehow revitalized this image with that freaking stupid haircut. Like, nobody believes in this man. Nobody on your team, nobody in your locker room, nobody in your organization, none of your staff, your freaking strength coaches, your coordinators. They're all just like, do I get promoted when they fire me? So pick a guy that you think is going to do the best job of actually managing the games, of actually putting your guys in position to succeed, of actually putting the players in their best spots, of actually communicating the correct needs of the team to the GM, whatever GM you decide, because Ryan Poles, I don't think he's sticking around if it goes the way I think it's going. You got to find somebody within the team to just hold you over to the offseason and bring us the best offensive mind the NFL has to offer this year. And I don't care how much it costs. I don't care if you got to pay him $100 million. Look at Jim Harbaugh, who just went off to the Chargers, and now he's out there tearing it up with Justin Herbert, having a grand old time in LA.
And didn't we say bring the old bear back?
And we said bring him, and he wanted this job. He wanted this job more than any other job in the whole NFL. And y'all just wouldn't even talk to him.
Bring the old bear back. And that's like when Kurt Warner wanted the job, but we took Rexy to the Super Bowl.
And it's
Kurt Warner versus Peyton Manning.
And how many times can we make the same mistake? We passed on Bruce Arians, a Hall of Fame coach. We pass on Harbaugh, a Hall of Fame coach. How many times are we going to pass on a real coach to hire somebody else's coordinator in a job they've never held and then let them waste our prime talent before they just disappear with $50 million?
And let's be honest, there's a reason they haven't held the job. And I'm not saying, look, I'm not saying that if you're Pittsburgh, you can find a Mike Tomlin because you know what he looks like.
Yeah.
Because you just had Cowher and you just had Noel. You figured it out. You figured out what it looks like. You can go hire another one. We don't have that luxury. We need somebody with a resume because we don't know what we're looking for.
We need somebody who wants to be here. We need somebody who wants to be here.
They want it. They want it. They want it. They know they know the challenge and they want to be here. And yeah, you know, hey.
At this moment, I don't want to be here.
Nobody does.
I even like Paul. I like a lot of the stuff Poles did, but he didn't do what he said, which was fix the trenches.
Yep. He also didn't take the to ever give it back.
Yeah, he didn't do that. He didn't come close to that. We're at the
bottom
probably
because he didn't address the trenches.
Mainly because he didn't address the trenches.
Right. I like FLUS. I like the way the men fight for him, but he's run that into the ground. You can't. There's only so many times I'm diving on the sword for you, but I said, don't ask me to dive. I will walk back into the huddle quietly and tell you, do not send me to dive on that sword again. I'm tired of diving on swords. That's not a game plan.
Man, and you see guys out here that are just, routine plays. Chris Olave caught one hospital ball from Derek Carr, and man, he didn't move after that. They carried him off the field. So nobody wants to be out there risking their life and limb for a guy who's just like gonna throw it away at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want, at least if you make that sacrifice, you want it to be worth something. You want it to mean something.
Worth something for sure.
God, man. Well, and the Saints had the good sense to fire their coach immediately after he lost to the Panthers, after he dropped another game he should have won. But we just keep holding on to ours. We will never make that intelligent decision. and we'll never win because of it.
And then you don't demand, there's not accountability then.
Yep.
Because now, okay, the leaders screw up and we just keep going.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So who cares? Just go ahead and
Right.
screw up as much as you want.
But when you mess up, I'm all over you, Tariq Stevenson.
Man,
Well, I'm uncle.
I'm nephew.
I'm son. And
We're
unfortunately,
still talking Bears.
we're still talking Bears.
I'm depressed.